We started with a damp, wet track. Everybody started on the Inters, and thank God, following last weekend, we got a standing start on time. Also, we thought it got going though, and what a brilliant start by Charles Leclerc. Got halfway alongside Max Verstappen. Was ahead actually going into turn one, but Max on the outside just wrung it round. Get a bit more traction on the outside there of turn one, so he managed to keep first place. Far behind, Vettel got quite a good start, but then had to go round onto the grass to avoid one car as he was passing it, and then just lost all visibility and just seemed to turn into Fernando Alonso, and off he went for a spin at the back of the field there. In contrast though, his teammate Lance Stroll, what an absolutely mega start he got. He found some dry track actually just to the right hand side of the circuit, far out wide. It seems like he pre-planned that and seen it before the start. I'm surprised other drivers around him didn't pick that one up. And he got a mega start, made up 7 places down into the first turn there. Following that, then we got around a couple of turns, and then Carlos Sainz went off for a spin. He just aquaplaned off, crashed into the barriers, and he was out of the race. Quite a dangerous one, actually. He ended up coming back onto the circuit, which is really quite dangerous. You're just praying that no one collects you up as they're passing the track there. And that was it. Called for a safety car immediately after that. The race was then red flagged. But then there was rumours and pictures going around of a tractor being on track just around the time of the safety car before the red flag. So the exact timing of it, not exact. The FIA saying that it was a red flag and then there was a tractor on track, but it didn't quite look like that from the pictures that we've seen. The number of cars going past this tractor, Pierre Gasly was the most incensed by that. Really quite disappointed with that, and it's an absolute shocker decision for the FIA to allow a tractor on circuit, especially here. We've seen Jules Bianchi lose his life, rest in peace for him, and it's scenes you just don't want to see on an F1 circuit. It cannot happen again. The FIA must act, and they need to sort of just keep themselves out of the limelight for a bit. The FIA, even the last few races, really seem to be making some shocking decisions, and they just need to keep themselves in check. But Pierre Gasly will be investigated by the stewards for speeding under the red flag. It seems like they just put that out there just to try and deflect some of the pressure on them there, because it was their bad call to have a tractor on track. I mean, absolutely shocking. All drivers, numerous tweets to say, we cannot see this again. We've had a really bad incident, we've had bad experience. We should learn from that now, and hopefully the FIA will act going forward. Following that, then we had a long wait, to be honest. We were just waiting because there was apparently a big patch of rain that was coming through, and the visibility was bad. I think they waited a bit too long, when we had about an hour to go then, where they decided that, hey, let's get this race going quite quickly, when we had a rolling start behind the safety car. Pretty standard start there for most places. Vettel and Latifi then quite quickly on the first lap round came into the pits for Inters, and that for me was a strategy of the day. Absolutely fantastic move from both drivers. They were really quite far up behind at the back, and then eventually that got Vettel early, got him on P6. What a mega result from him. And Latifi as well, getting some points again. Now he's in P9 after he's leaving Williams, so another points run for him, and he did really quite well with that decision from there. And the winner and world champion for the second year, Max Verstappen, he was an absolute league of his own. The race got going. We only had like 28 laps. And then we got about 25-second lead. He won from Charles Leclerc in the end, and he won because there was a bit of a confusion at the end there. We thought we'd only have half race distance, so we didn't get half points. But because of it was a restart, they could award full race points, and therefore Max Verstappen got his world champion due to a last lap incident with his title rivals Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. That's the headline for you Fleet Street folk today. Well, right on the last lap, on the last corner, coming into the chicane, Perez was right on the tail of Charles Leclerc, whose tyres were fading right at the end. He seemed to have just run too wide and used a runoff area, and he was deemed to have gained an advantage by leaving the track. Kept his place ahead of Perez at the start, but then quickly got a 5-second time penalty, which means he finished in third place, Perez in second, which made Max Verstappen world champion for the second year running. I mean, he absolutely deserved it. He's been a class of the field. He's shown it today. I mean, 28 laps they had today, and he won by 25 seconds. I mean, absolutely mega drive. And he's done that all season. And yes, you can say he's had the best car, but for a lot of this season, I think it's Ferrari that's had the fastest car in certain circumstances, but just couldn't make it win. So it's been an absolutely mega drive from him. And from the team, to be honest with you, they've been brilliant all year and well deserved. Over the take of the day for me was George Russell on Zhou Guangzhou. He made a habit of that in turn 6 going into the Dunlop. Just a short burst it is, and he just mega pulled it on the inside. Just short, sharp jab kind of thing, and he just made it past him. Brilliant move. He did the same again on Nicholas Latifi at that spot. It became his sort of trademark thing. They even got on the radio to Lewis Hamilton when he was trying to get past Ocon to say, look, George Russell's done this move here, so maybe you want to try that out. Zhou Guangzhou got the fastest lap. He came into pit for a second time for fresh inters, because at this point all the inters were wearing out. He was quite a lot faster than everybody else in the field, which prompted other drivers to do the same. Alonso went for the same move. Didn't think it would work out too well for Alonso, but he did well coming back into P7. I mean, he was 1,000th of a second off getting P6 from Sebastian Vettel, so nearly a masterstroke from him there. And that was the race really. But for teams, Charles Leclerc just poor tight on the tyres again. It absolutely faded away, and then P3 he ended up with that 5-second penalty. Kind of held off Perez for a good few laps before that, and it's a shame he just sort of lost it on that chicane coming into the last turn there. Carlos Sainz, as I say, crashed out on lap 1, so not a fantastic result for Ferrari for him. Third place for Charles Leclerc. I thought they might be one where they'd win this just because of the long sweeping tracks, and that's tracks where they've been really, really fast. For Mercedes next, Lewis Hamilton finished in 5th, just got stuck behind Ocon and was stuck for I think he had quite a quick car, and he'd been right in the battle with Charles Leclerc and Perez if he would be able to make that through quite quickly, but didn't quite happen for him, unfortunately. So P5 finish for him. George Russell finished in 8th. Bit of a so-so race. He was disappointed that they double stacked him behind Lewis Hamilton right after the first lap. I think he felt like they lost too much time doing that. He would have been better off just going round again on the wets, but they were quite a lot slower, as others found out. Mick Schumacher and Alonso initially just stayed out on the wets. It didn't work out. Mick Schumacher was running 3rd at one point because everyone pitted, and then ended up last place for him. Red Bulls, fantastic 1-2 finish. Max Verstappen, world champion. Sergio Perez, another brilliant drive from him, getting up into the points, keeping a 1-2, and got that move sort of done on Charles Leclerc at the end, but had to put the pressure on, had to be there, got the 2nd place. Great result for him. McLaren had a so-so race, started 10th, finished 10th in the end. Norris went early onto the Inters, but didn't just seem to have the pace there, as we've seen the others did, to make places up. And Daniel Ricciardo finished 11th. Again, bit disappointing from him, really. It kind of faded away in the periphery most of the race this weekend. Alpine, Fernando Alonso, so-so. He could have been strategy of what could have been had he just pitted early to go straight onto the Inters. Might have been right up there fighting with Lewis and Ocon for 5th and 4th place, but came back well after what I thought was a bit of a drastic choice to stay on that wet, and got up to 7th place. Ocon did a brilliant drive, defensive drive, managed to hold on for 4th place. So some good points for Alpine again this weekend in their battle with McLaren up there. Haas, Kevin Magnussen finished in P14, just had a fairly steady, quiet race. Some good overtaking moves from him to move up to places, but no points. Mick Schumacher, as I say, he was in P3 earlier, stayed out on the wets, but stayed out far too long. I think they were sort of praying for some sort of safety car incident that might drag them out, maybe another red flag, considering we've only just got going, weren't sure how the track conditions would be, and that could have fallen out really well for him. The gamble didn't quite work out, but when you're in that position, then I guess you try these things. Finished in 18th place. And then we've got Aston Martin, and what a brilliant result for Sebastian Vettel. He's been absolutely on it all weekend here, qualified brilliantly yesterday, made a mega move to go on to the Inter straight away, and he was like nearly 3-4 seconds faster than everybody, which got him straight up into 6th place, managed to hold on to that. Brilliant race for him. Lance Stroll, despite his fantastic start, he then seemed to, in the safety car mode, he just struggled after that and just finished in P11. Bit disappointing for him there. Alpha Tauri Pierre Gasly, he had quite an eventful start. He collected the advertising hoard that came off after the crash of Carlos Sainz, which is something again that the FIA need to look at. He collected that, struggled around, then just had a so-so race. Finished back in 17th in the end. And Zhou Guangzhou finished in P13. Was stuck in a battle. He was in no man's land between Lance Stroll and Kevin Magnussen, not really fighting for him. It was about 5 seconds either way between both drivers. Alfa Romeo, no points again this weekend, but a decent race. Zhu tyres didn't quite work out. He started P14th, so you'd thought he'd finish quite further up. Ended up in P6. He came in twice. Didn't even though had the fastest lap, but didn't expect him to get up further as I thought he would. But decent race. Bottas, not much happened for him. Finished P50 or 17 in the end. P15, and then the Williams, Alex Albon, he went out. He had a gearbox issue on lap 1, saying it came on after an incident, which is a bit of a real shame for him there. And then Nicholas Latifi, he went on to the Inters after the safety car. He was up to P8. A great decision from him there, really, and Williams to do that, and a fantastic result, finishing in P9, fighting and showing his class now that he's not got a seat for next season. Could he take up the seat at Haas? That's the only 2 seats left now in Formula 1. I'll do a video on the driver lineup for next year and where and who might take them remaining seats. But what a fantastic race we finally got at the Japanese Grand Prix. I hope it had started maybe another 15 minutes earlier than it did. We've got a few more laps in. But Max Verstappen, World Champion 2022. He's been mega all season, well deserved. He's just been the class of the field. He's been really calm as well, which has been really quite different to his last World Champion. Quite a tense battle all the way to the end. Won it quite early on. He's on for the record of the most wins in a season now. And off to Austin we go in 2 weeks' time. So I'll see you there. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next in a couple of weeks' time.